I'm recording a little bit later than usual. Okay. It is recording, right? Yes, it is recording. Okay. So we've created a class, Sentinel Even Loop, and we've named it Sentinel Even Loop. We created a public static void main method. Inside that we have a scanner, and we use a delimiter. We've set up a constant value inside of here, Sentinel number. Looks like I misspelled the keyword Sentinel here. Yeah. Sentinel. There we go. That's better. All right. So we have the constant. We have a message, enter an even number or a value 999 to stop. And then we declare our variable, the number 0. And we set up a do while loop. And we tell it scan the next int, assign it to the num. If the num is a modulus 2 equals 0, then good job. Else, input message, you dirty rat. The static public void method that we have down here, input message, takes a message, prints it out, and then also adds another message. It says, please input another number. And we use a print statement here instead of a print line. Now, I'm going to do something for you guys that is always a good idea, okay, is to add some comments. So I'm going to add a comment that states why we're using a print versus a print line, okay. We are using print here instead of print line because we want the user's input to appear on the same line. All right, and it is a very good idea that even with your comments, you keep your comment within the code fold, not off the screen. Okay, so you just hit enter and it should automatically put the comment lines in there for you. Okay, so we've got everything set up. Let's run it again and see what happens. We'll run it. Bring this window up a little bit. So enter an even number or the value 999 to stop. Let's first test the 999 value. You dirty rat, please input another number, and it exited. All right, so we probably have one more thing we want to do because that just doesn't give great feedback to the user, right? We'll correct that. What could we do so that we don't display you dirty rat? If we scan the number and it comes in here as 999, it doesn't fit this category because it's not an even number. It's going to go into the else message, say you dirty rat. But up here, the value is 999 to stop, right? So one of the things we could do is just say if num equals sentinel number, let's think about this. Let's make this a not equal. Put this message in here, and then say else. Thank you for playing our game. Or you could type whatever you want. So now let's run it again. You can also run it down here using this rerun. We'll run it again, and we're going to enter 999. Thank you for playing your game, and it exits. So we could add something else here. We could say goodbye. So 999, enter, thank you for entering, goodbye. Make sense? Very, very simple logic. All right, let's run it again and test the other scenario of our even numbers. So we're going to enter 2. Good job. Please enter another number. 2. Good job. 3. You dirty rat. Please enter another number. 4. Good job. 5. You dirty rat. 6. Good job. 7. You dirty rat. How about 49? You dirty rat. 7 times 7 is 49. Right? My math's right. All right, 50. Good job. All right. So far the logic is working good. 999, hit enter. Thank you for playing our game. Goodbye. All right. Does everyone understand the logic that occurred here? Any questions? Anything else we could do to improve the code? So look at the code. I've got inside the else, I've got another if statement here, right? And I say num not equal to sentinel, right? Yep. All right. So this is a good example of using the do while loop because you want the condition for exit to occur at the end. And you want it to continue looping until the condition is met, which means that it has to enter the condition first. So this is a good spot for a do while loop. Okay, anything else though we could do in the code to optimize? What do you think? When you're writing your method, you could even overload this one more time. I'm going to copy and paste just to make it quick. We could overload and say Boolean sentinel. I love these words. They're hard. All right, so then we could do something like this. And like that. Okay. Now, this gets to one of those let's take that out. Let's put message. Okay. Now there's an obvious question that I want y'all to think about. It should just be like screaming at you. Am I doing anything with that value? But it's still serving a purpose, right? Think about it. What purpose is it serving? One of these things is not like the other. All right, these are both overloaded methods, right? What's the difference between this method and this method? What's the difference between these two methods? Very good. And so if I wanted to say to somebody, I make McDonald's, and I tell them, the McDonald's person, I'll have a cheeseburger, and I'll have a cheeseburger, and I'll have a cheeseburger and fry. There's two different methods of the order. They're overloaded in a sense. But just by the fact that I said I'll have the cheeseburger and the fry, it's a different order call. And so if this was instead of input message, if this was McDonald's order, it would know which method to use based on the parameters passed in. Does that make sense? Just by the fact that I say, I pass in a message and the sentinel value of false, it will call this second message. I could call this sentinel value of true, and guess what? It'll still call the same overloaded method. We could make this an int. And for our purposes, it still calls the second method. We could make this an object and pass in a null. And it still calls the second object. All we're doing with the overloaded method is we're making sure that we identify which method we're going to call. That's all this does. We're not checking any value. The check is on whether or not you're using you dirty rat, comma, something else, or versus only one parameter. So one parameter or two parameters, it forces you to call one or the other methods. Does that make sense? Some of you are looking at me like, that's tricky. Or maybe you still don't understand. All it is just a way of identifying the method. And I'm just using the nature of what it is to ask for which method would be called. Okay? All right. So we'll run it again. And then we're going to go on to the next problem because we don't want to spend all of our time perfecting one homework assignment. So we run it. Did it already? Oh, there it is. All right. So let's enter 999. You see what happened? It still calls it no matter what. No matter what the method signature is. As long as there's two parameters, it's going to call it. Now, this is where you would just want to, if you ever get into the situation where you're wanting the method to be identified like this, just make sure you put a comment in your code. All right. Any other questions so far on this assignment? All right. Let's move on to the second one.